These days, everyone's chasing fast English success, magic pills, super helpful app, become fluent in English in 1 week. But I spent 10 years learning English to finally become fluent and confident and start speaking with no fear. Was my messy and tricky journey in English worth it? Or I can make it faster and more effective? Let's find out in this video. My journey starts like for most of the people in school. We didn't choose learning English and actually didn't see any purpose in learning it. But we had no choice, like most of us, we just learning because we have to. Our English was like for most of the people just taking exams, learning grammar, no speaking at all, just reading, listening, taking tests. It was so much stress because you learning like every subject in school, we learning that mistakes is bad, that you cannot make mistakes, you need to be perfect. And when it comes to speaking, it was even worse because all of us non-native speakers have that terrible accent at the beginning, and every our classmates, like, you know, teenagers laughing and whatever when you like answering, they, oh my gosh, that accent is so terrible, even in case they have the same accent, right? And teachers will be, oh my gosh, you're so terrible, how can you pronounce that bad? But honestly, their pronunciation wasn't that great at all because they also was non-native speakers and specialized only to teach grammar and all that stuff. So obviously, after some years education in school, it was only like knowing some basic grammar, knowing some words, some basic sentences, which is really not that helpful as it could be. After university years came, it was a way better because it was specialized English, more professional, and you actually know for some reason why you're learning it, and you paying money for classes. So kinda you have to learn harder in case of achieving results, but still just a little bit of conversational English we just speak time to time in introducing ourselves or like retelling some stories or texts. And it wasn't enough because most of us didn't speak English at some point. Some people around were speaking, but they were teaching by themselves, by traveling and all that stuff. University years also didn't give that much. So you can imagine it was like 5 years or 6 years of that journey where nothing really changed. I learned some basic grammar, I was able to understand a little bit, but it was like not effective at all. You can imagine, right? And maybe that's familiar with you too. After I finally found a job, and I start working in international companies, I start using my English skills because I need to have like messaging, our clients and all that stuff. It was good at the beginning because messaging with foreigners is not that terrible because they're also not native speakers and you have that sort of format you're using for messaging, so it wasn't hard. But after some time of working, I have to start calling our clients abroad, and that was it. That was terrible experience because I've heard all of that, people speaking perfectly, even from non-native English-speaking countries, and I was so terrible. I was shaking, I was twisting words, and I barely can inform them, so I was sort of an unprofessional for sure. And yes, so it didn't hit me that hard. I was stressful all the time when I call in, but it wasn't that bad. Everything changed when I called that client from Japan, and that was so terrible for me because the person from another side had such a perfect voice and such a perfect accent, and I was like shaking again, twisting words, and I felt so ashamed and terrible. And I decided for myself that moment that I will start finally speak normally because I want to sound the same and be equal to that people with who I'm talking and be more professional. I start searching on YouTube all that stuff, how to become fluent, mostly like you guys searching, and how to become fluent, best vocabulary, everyday phrases, all that stuff. That's important, that helped, but I was only watching. I was watching for a year or something. I was watching and my listening became really great. I was able to understand everything from YouTube videos, movies, like what people saying, but still I had the problem. I wasn't able to say even a single word. Why that happening? I was wondering, really wondering. But after I realized the problem is in me, because I wasn't put any actions. I was only watching and listening, and it was crucial for me because you need actually to speak to start speaking, and I was ignoring that part completely. So I started speaking and started by searching people who was native speakers in different language apps, exchanging groups on Discord, whatever. It was really hard because finding a person nowadays is really hard. Most people are not using that sort of apps and chats for learning a language. You know, people are people. They are making a dating app from every single app they're using, so you can relate if you ever use something like that. But somehow I was lucky. I found few friends with who I was able to start speaking in English. It was terrible at the beginning, even in case they were saying I'm doing great. But I definitely can relate how terrible I was sound. And I really appreciated their help in case of they helped me to believe in myself and start speaking finally. And you think, yes, you found that people and you become fluent. Yeah, for sure. I was practicing and speaking with them like almost every day for 2 years to finally achieve some sort of results I can notice. In case I started to speak somehow fluently, I started noticing my accent is still not perfect. I mastering some sounds, but after that came that you need to improve pronunciation, that you need to improve rhythm, that you have to learn so many other stuff to finally sound at least somehow close to a native speaker. And that doubt is following me all the way. Here I am now talking to you, and do you think I really don't have that doubt? I feel so bad about my pronunciations time to time. I feel bad about that my rhythm is so terrible. I'm still learning, watching videos, practicing talking. Even talking to you right now is my practice to speak English. That is a 10 years process and it's still going. Was it worth it? Should I choose a better way, for example, skipping these 6 years of education in school and university and start right away speaking and not watching what other people around me saying? Probably yes, but that's my journey of realizing how important English in my life. And it's not because of job and opportunity. It's because when you start learning something, it became part of yourself. Not even in case of culture, just a language. It changes your brain and how you think. And for me, that's crucial. And I definitely, if you would ask me, would I choose become fluent in 1 week or even in 1 day, or take my journey of 10 years of struggling, misunderstanding, self-doubts, which are still here, I actually would choose my 10 years journey because it made me who I am now. With my self-beliefs, with my trust to myself, with knowing that I can overcome something if I do it, and realizing that the life isn't an easy journey, and that's building a character which helps you in the future. What will be your choice? Will you choose to become fluent, or you will choose that journey I went through to build a character and confidence in yourself, that you can accomplish goals and knowing that good results takes time and effort? Write in the comments your thoughts. I would be curious to know. And if you like that sort of a format, you can watch other videos which will tell you my journey and how I'm trying to help you to learn English. See you in the next one.